So what did you miss at Jubilee today? Well, you missed Canada Day weekend. So we prayed for our country and our relationships, our treaties, our refugees, our past, our present, and our future. We prayed in celebration, we prayed in concern, we prayed in real hope that we might actually reach our aspirations, our potential as a community, as a country. We have much of which to be proud, and we have much work to do if we intend to be the country we tell everybody that we are. So we did that today. We heard an interesting story of Jesus and a couple of followers who said they wanted to follow Jesus, but the one wanted to go back and bury his father who had just died. And Jesus said to him, let the dead bury their own dead. And another said, I want to follow you, but I want to go back to my family and just let them know. And he essentially said that you can't look backwards if you're going to move forward. If you want to be with the kingdom of God, you need to be looking forward, not going back. And so we concluded that Jesus was a really crappy pastor. Imagine somebody calling and saying, Reverend Seli, my father has died. And I say, well, let the dead bury their own dead, and just hung up. We wouldn't do that. So what is the good news in this story, this strange story where Jesus just, as I said, isn't really a very good pastor, at least not the way we think of pastors. But we wondered together about what it means when Jesus makes these dramatic statements. And we recognize that one of the things that Jesus is saying is that faith is not about us. It's not about fitting faith into your schedule. It's not about your comfort. Faith is about the other. If you're rich, then faith is about the poor. If you're poor, then faith is about the rich. If you're oppressed, it's about the oppressor. If you are one thing, your faith is about the other. We are always invited into the experience of the other, to engage with the other. And that's tough because so often we've been led to believe that faith is about our comfort, our growth. But in fact, the kingdom of God, as Jesus describes it, is a time when we have no sense of otherness. We're in this together. And so it's not about you. We also acknowledge in those two rather harsh examples that what Jesus is saying, too, is that faith is costly. It's not easy. It's worth it, but it's not easy. When we truly engage in this life of faith, we find ourselves siblings with the best of the world and also the worst of the world. We are family with people whose politics offend us. We are family with criminals, with bad people. And we have to understand what that means. We have to understand what it means to pray for our enemies and to love the unlovable. And those things aren't easy because, frankly, most of us would rather we just lock criminals up and forget about them and just get rid of bad people generally. And yet, faith demands an engagement, and it's hard. And finally, I suspect that the idea of let the dead bury their own dead is also Jesus' way of saying that faith is not about the past and what was. Faith is not about restoring anything. Faith is about the present and building a future of justice, a future of compassion. It's actually a lovely reading to have on a Canada Day weekend when we are part of a community, part of a nation that aspires to compassion and justice, and very often wants to shy away from the hard thing because we think that perhaps citizenship, belonging to communities, should be about how easy it is and how it's for us. But in fact, as Canadians, as people who live in treaty relationship, it's not just about us. It's about the other. It's about the other right up until there's no such thing as the other, and we simply recognize ourselves as siblings, God's children. That's the kind of stuff we wondered about today. And we sang a lot. We laughed. We had a very good time. But we missed you. So hopefully we'll get to see you soon. But until we do, know that you're not alone. Know that we miss you. God bless.